A pleasant good evening to you all. I'm Shane Harris. The Shane Harris Tonight series continues its Season 2 global trip format as we're staying put in Australia for the next two episodes, and that includes this one and the next one. This time around, we've talked about Space Nova, a show with plenty of accolades but no US airtime. But now we're going to talk about a show that is also one that never aired in the States, and unfortunately, it never won any awards. But this one does have its own quirks, though. For SUMO Mouse, it has some nice tricks that is actually pretty nice. You're going to have to see it to believe it. The show came out in 2010 and based on a very unique little book done by a guy by the name of Dave Wisniewski. The show would be Australian produced, with a little bit of help coming over from Canadian funding and Malaysian animation. Now, you may be thinking, is this show animated with digital link, kind of rough like Wayside or so? The answer, no. It is actually flash animated. But surprisingly, it does run smooth. So it's not too bad in my honest opinion, for a show that only ran one season, and that was 2010. Now you may be wondering, what is with the one small mouse, one big destiny tagline? Well, it turns out that for this series that airs on Network 10 in Australia, now Paramount owned, the show has its own take on the rise to glory kind of gimmick that one character may have. For Yama, pictured right there, a character you can easily cosplay, he becomes this, the so-called Sumo Mouse. Because, as you may would see if you watched any episodes of the show on YouTube, the intro has basically kind of a very expository feel. Then there's a nice city called Catropolis where he lives. Then all hell broke loose because Mount Sumo erupted. Then some guy named Claw, no relations to Dr. Claw, mind you, became the new head of the city, using his evil influence to cause havoc. And something random just happened to the point where this character somehow becomes this gargantuan. And it's something that you're gonna have to watch for yourself because A, it is linear, so I am not going to give you all the fancy details. So yes, this episode is going to be a tad bit shorter than per usual. And B, obviously I don't want to give away any spoilers. All 26 episodes have been uploaded onto YouTube for your convenience. They run with the tradition. They don't run the 11-minute AB format. This is like a proper 22 to 24 minute episode apiece kind of ordeal. That actually is the kind of stuff I really like. But sadly, the show never aired in the US, though it did air in Canada, Malaysia, and Australia, with the Australian airings being preserved, albeit it's reruns from the ABC instead of the original Network 10 broadcasts. It's kind of unfortunate that no one really talked about this show because of how short its lifespan was and how obscure it is. Though if you watch the show, which, by the way, first episode will be in the description below, so you can easily watch that for your convenience. But there is only one bit of criticism I have, and that is some of the voice acting. Of course, due to the fact that the budget was obviously very small, they had a little bit of help from Ontario and Victoria, Australia, of all places, to add in the funding. Their cast was quite small. About like 8, 9, 10 different people participated. And none of them are ones that I'm familiar with. So, yeah. Anyway, not a bad show nonetheless. Again, it is linear, filled with very important details I shall not spoil, so sorry if this episode feels vague. Again, you can watch the first episode. It is in the description below. Till then, I'm Shane Harris. I'll see you next week for the last of the Australian entrants. And this next one happens to be a little bit more known. And it also happens to air on Network 10. Till then, good night.